Hello, boys and girls. It's Miss E here today. I'm so excited to do our Scholastic News. So we are going to be reading All Aboard Abe from Scholastic News. So please find your Scholastic News, All Aboard Abe, and your highlighter, please. And remember, if I'm going too fast for you, you can just pause the video. Let's begin.
All Aboard Abe. Long ago, Abraham Lincoln was elected president. He had to go to Washington, D.C. That is where presidents live. How did Abe get there? Look at the picture for a hint. As you read, think about how Abe's time was different from today.
Awesome. Okay, so let's take our highlighter, right? And let's highlight the word elected. Elected. So that means Abraham was elected to be president. Elected. How do you think President Abe? How do you think President Abe got to Washington D.C.? Oh, you're right. The train. We can look at the picture for our hint, which we see a train. Perfect.
Abe's train trip. Abe took a train. Abe had a big trip to make. He was president now. He had to get to Washington, D.C. He could not take an airplane. He could not drive a car. This was long ago. There were no airplanes or cars back then. Most people rode on wagons pulled by horses. Trains were something new. They were much faster than a wagon. Abe took a train. Abe met people. Abe's train stopped at many stations. People came to see him. Back then, there were no TVs or computers, so most people had not seen their new president. Abe loved to meet people. He stood at the back of the train. He talked to people and told them funny stories. One time, Abe was telling a story. Before he could finish, the train pulled away from the station. When the train got to the next...
Let's highlight the word station. So take out your highlighter and let's highlight the word stations. So it says Abe's train stopped at many stations. So do you know what a train station is? Yes. So they stopped at many train stations to pick up other people, right? Okay. Good job.
Station. Abe was surprised. He saw the same people. They had run from the last town. They wanted to hear the end of Abe's story. Abe had some problems. Abe liked meeting people. He liked telling stories. But his trip was not all fun. The train traveled through rain and snow. Abe got a cold and lost his voice. And some people just didn't like Abe. In one town, a boy threw a snowball at him. Finally, Abe's train arrived in Washington, D.C. The trip had been 13 days long. Abe had loved seeing people. Now he had to get to work. By Aaron Kelly. This is Abe's real hat. It is in a museum in Washington, D.C. Abe Lincoln's trip to the White House. Abe Lincoln's train trip began here.
Nice. So his train trip began right here in Springfield, Illinois. Perfect. Illinois. Okay. Oh, I forget that there's no sound in this one. Okay, so it says Abe's White House. When Abe got to Washington, D.C., he lived in the White House. He lived there with his wife and kids. The house seemed fancy to Abe. It had indoor toilets that flushed. Abe's kids liked the house too. It was fun to play in. They rode a goat down the hall. It says the White House when Abe was president. So that tells us more, that caption tells us more about the picture. Okay, so question 1. Click on the headline of this article. So you might know that word too as a header. So the header tells us, it's going to kind of tell us what the article will be about. So where do you think the top of the header is? The headline of the article is. Maybe think up top on the article. Oh, you're right here. Perfect. Okay, so that's called the headline of the article. So Abe's White House, and then it told us more about Abe's White House, right? Okay, question 2. What did Abe's kids ride down the hall? Think in your head. We'll go back to the text to find text evidence in just a second, but think in your head for a moment. So what did Abe's kids ride down a hall? Did they ride a horse down the hall? Did they ride a motorcycle down the hall? Or did they ride a goat down the hall? Says down here, it says, it was fun to play in. They rode a goat down the hall. You're right, so it would be a goat. So circle in a goat. Okay, so then question number 3 says, drag the X to the photo caption. Ooh, we kind of talked about this earlier. So here we have the photo, right? So where would the caption be? Where's the caption that tells us more about the photo? You guys know this. Oh, you're right. So let's drag it to here. Perfect. Bonus question. Okay, look at the photo of the White House when Abe was president. Okay, here's the photo. When people came to visit Abe, did they drive cars? How can you tell? So look at the White House when he was president. Do you see people driving cars? Does that look like a car? No. How did you know that? Oh, I see, because you see a horse, right? And then you see like a carriage in the back where that person is sitting. So people came to the White House on a carriage that is pulled by a horse. Nice work. Okay, let's go back to the first page.
Abe's train trip.
Okay.
All aboard Abe.
Sorry, boys and girls. Let's watch the video.
The life of Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln was born in 1809. When Abe was a boy, he and his family lived in a cabin. It was made of logs and had a dirt floor. It had only one room and one window. Abe had to help his family out with a lot of chores. He wasn't able to go to school very often, but he loved to read. There were no electric lights in Abe's cabin, so at night he read by candlelight. One of his favorite books was about George Washington. Abe was a great speaker, too. He loved to talk, and people loved to listen to him. They would come from far away to hear him tell stories. Abe grew up and became a lawyer. He met a woman named Mary Todd. They got married. In 1860, Abe ran for president. He won. Soon after Abe became president, the Civil War started. Some states had left the United States to start their own country. Abe didn't want the country to split apart. He worked hard to bring the states back together. The fighting went on for 4 years. It was a long, hard war. In the end, all the states came back together. Abe had helped keep the country from breaking apart. Abe was a strong and fair president.
He kept our country together during a difficult time. Today, many people think he was one of the best presidents our country has ever had.
Awesome.
What is something new you learned about Abraham Lincoln? Talk about it.
What is something new you
See you
learned?
soon.
Oh man, think in your head. What is something you learned about Abraham Lincoln? Oh man. Okay. Learning a lot.
Elected. Chosen by voting. Abraham Lincoln was elected president because people voted for him.
Oh, here's the word we talked about.
Stations. Regular stopping places. Trains stop at stations so that people can get on and off.
Perfect. Okay, let's play the game. Fingers crossed it works. Fingers crossed. Oh, come on. Sometimes it doesn't work, boys and girls. Let's see. Is it gonna work for us? Might be loading. Let's see here. Let's go forward and then back again. Let's try again. Huh. Oh. Loading, 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 loading. Oh man, we're really waiting this morning. I'll wait a few minutes longer. Oh, I think it just worked and I was being impatient. Okay, sorry, boys and girls. I think it's going to work. Yep, there we go. Okay, Lincoln's train is coming. Choose the correct punctuation. Oh, I forget it's going to read it to us.
Lincoln's train is coming. Choose the correct punctuation.
Okay, so punctuation, exclamation point, excitement, question mark. You have a question. Was Abe Lincoln president? So would we say, was Abe Lincoln president? Or we would say, was Abe Lincoln president? What do you think? Will we put a question mark or an exclamation mark? Or an exclamation point? Oh, you're right. Question mark. Abe took a train to the White House. Would we put a period or a question mark? Abe took a train to the White House, period. Or would we say Abe took a train to the White House, question mark? Abe took a train to the White House? That doesn't make sense with a question mark, does it? No, so a period mark. Says, uh-oh, the train pulled away. Would we use a question mark? Would we read it like, uh-oh, the train pulled away? Or would we say it with an exclamation point? So listen to me. Uh-oh, the train pulled away! Exclamation mark, right? Okay, this next one says, how long was Abe's train trip? Would we put a question mark after that or a period mark? They are asking a question, right? How long was Abe's train trip? So we would put a question mark. Okay, it says, a boy threw a snowball at Abe. Would we put a question mark? A boy threw a snowball at Abe? Or would we put an exclamation mark? A boy threw a snowball at Abe. What do you think? You're right, an exclamation mark. It says, Abe loved to meet new people. Would it be a period mark after that sentence or a question mark? You're right. It's just as a statement, right? We're saying Abe loved to meet new people, period. This says, where do presidents live? Would we put a exclamation mark at the end? Where do presidents live? Or would we put a question mark at the end of that sentence? Where do presidents live? Nice work. Question mark. Happy President's Day. Yay. That's so exciting. Okay, well, thank you so much, boys and girls, for joining me today. Have a great rest of your day today, and we will see you soon. Oh, just gotta end it. Perfect. See you later.